Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to my channel. Um, okay. Uh, Sorry about last Saturday. Something was screwed with StreamYards, so I got that fixed. Um, and sorry I haven't streamed lately. The pollen's been really bad here, and um, my sinuses just could not take it. So anyway, with that being said, let's get on to comment of the week. And this week's comment of the week goes to Moody Rick 8503, and it is under Creationism is Junk, Eric Hovind. And they say evolution versus creation. If evolution was like a religion, there would be multiple contradictory versions of it taught in universities and countries all over the world. And likewise, if religion was like evolution, there would be a single version of it taught throughout the world. Very good point, Moody. And might I say, when somebody brings up the point about evolution being a religion, you can tell them that, and hopefully that'll shut them up. Alrighty. So, let's get on to today's topic of making fun of the Bible. And for my Jewish friends, I'm making fun of the interpretation of the Bible that I grew up with. I do not mean any disrespect to your holy book. All right. Now, with that being said, Job 38 to 42, God's temper tantrum. And I've been looking forward to this one. Boy, have I ever been looking forward to this one. All right, let's go. I didn't share, did I? No, I didn't. All right, let me share. Doo, 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 doo. Just so you know, I'm not making shit up. All right, moving on. Job chapter 38, verse 1. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. He said, "Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man." Well, yeah, what else would Job brace himself as? He is a man. Moving on. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Um, I would say gravity did, but I could be wrong. Who stretched a measuring line across it? Uh, Nobody. On what were its fittings set, or who laid its cornerstone? Earth does not have a cornerstone. While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy. I don't believe in angels. And how do stars sing? Okay, people, let me get serious just for 1 minute. I know this is poetry and it might make even more sense in the original Hebrew, but I can't read the original Hebrew, okay? Um, but I know it's supposed to be poetry, so this is poetic license being taken here. I know that. So, you know, um, I'm just messing with the wording. Okay, verse 8. Who shut up the sea behind doors? Um, Nobody, because seas don't have doors to be behind. When it burst forth from the womb, when I made the clouds its garment and wrapped it in thick darkness. Okay, I have no idea what that means. It might make more sense in the original Hebrew. When I fixed limits for it. When you fixed limits for what? The sea? So, does that mean when there's a tidal wave, it breaks the limits? Anyway, moving on. And set its stores and bars in place. When I said, this far you may come and no farther, here is where your proud waves halt. Okay, I do understand that back in this time, they were not aware that seas and sea levels change all the time. So, okay, I'll give them a pass. Verse 12. Have you ever given orders to the morning or shown the dawn its place? Uh, no, nobody has. That it might take the earth by the edges and shake the wicked out. The earth has no edges because it's a sphere. Verse 14. The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Okay, this is talking about um, in the olden days um, when uh, kings set their orders out and they sent the orders to different areas. Um, they would have a seal, um, meaning that number one, it wasn't opened until it got to wherever it was going. And number two, that it was from the king, and the seal was kind of like a stamp, um, like a not a not like a stamp, like a letter stamp that we have today, but like a stamp. And the king would put the seal in the clay and then attach the clay to the parchment. So that's what it's talking about. I'm sure I didn't have to tell people that, but just in case. Its features stand out like those of a garment. Okay, no idea what that means. The wicked are denied their light, and their upraised arm is broken. Again, I have no idea what that means. Verse 16. Have ye journeyed to the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Um, kind of on both of those. I used to live near the ocean. I lived in Tampa, Florida, for the first 6 years of my life. And then after that, we went to the beach. Um, for vacations all the time, uh, um, and walked in the recesses of the deep. Mm, I have been out to the continental shelf. Very interesting, by the way. Um, if you've never been to the ocean, there's like a place where you can just walk out as far as you can, and then you have to start swimming eventually because your feet can't touch the ground. But then eventually you're going to get to what's called the continental shelf. And this continental shelf is what has the sand dollars on it. And, you know, uh, I would not advise going past the continental shelf um, because there's no telling when you'll be able to walk on land again after the shelf. So, anyway, moving on. Verse 17. Have the gates of death been shown to you? Can I count Pluto's gate among those? In case you don't know, Pluto's gate is in, damn, I can't remember. Um, Now that I bring it up, I've got to let you know. Very interesting. I've never been there, but you can go there. Okay. The Plutonian at Hierapolis was a Plutonian or a religious site dedicated to the god Pluto in the ancient city of Hierapolis near Pamukkale in Turkey's Deniz Denizli province. The site was discovered in 1965 by the Italian archaeologists who published reports in their excavations, yada, yada, yada. So, anyway, basically, it's called Pluto's Gate because if you send um, um, at night, if you go there at night and you try to enter Pluto's Gate at night, and this is people. If people try to enter Pluto's Gate at night, they're gonna die because, sulfur, I believe, um, comes out and settles, on Pluto's Gate, um, but in the daytime, it dissipates somewhat enough that people don't have to worry about it, but animals do, so you don't want an animal to ever go into Pluto's Gate, ever, but it's fine for people to go there during the daytime. All right, moving on. I got to make this interesting somehow. Forgive me. All right. Um, have you seen the gates of the deepest darkness? Alrighty. 18. Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Tell me if you know all this. Well, I'm pretty sure there are people who've been like all over the earth, including Antarctica. So, yeah. All right, verse 19. What is the way to the abode of light? Um, I don't even know what that means. And where does darkness reside? I definitely do not know what that means. Can you take them to their places? Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Why would light and darkness have dwellings? You see what I'm talking about by God's temper tantrum, right? Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Oh, sorry about that. Verse 21. Surely you know, for you are already born. You have lived so many years. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail? No, because they don't have storehouses, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle. What is the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed? Uh, Lightning happens, it's not dispersed. Sorry to burst your bubble, God. Or the place where the east winds are scattered over the earth. Who cuts a channel for the torrent of rain and a path for the thunderstorm, to water a land where no one lives, an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland and make it sprout with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens, when the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen? Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear with its cubs? Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up God's dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with a flood of water? Do you send lightning bolts on their way? No, Zeus does that. I know. I don't believe in Zeus either. I just had to make that joke. Do they report to you, here we are? Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? The ibis and the rooster go by uh, a little something that we call, I hate when I do this. Yeah, you know what I mean. Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the heavens when the dust becomes hard and the clouds of earth stick together? And the clods of earth stick together. Sorry about that. Yeah, no idea what that means. Do you hunt the prey for the lioness? No, she hunts her own prey and satisfy the hunger of the lions when they crouch in their dens or lie in wait in a thicket. Uh, no, they provide their own food. Who provides food for the raven? Um, the raven does. When its young cry out to God and wonder about for lack of food. Verse 39. Chapter 39, sorry. I'm kind of tired if you haven't realized it. Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Pretty sure we figured that out a long time ago. Do you watch when the doe bears her fawn? Mm, I've seen it, yeah. Not in real life on TV, of course. Do you count the months till they bear? Pretty sure we already know that. Do you know the time they give birth? Mm, yep, pretty sure we know that. They crouch down and bring forth their young. Um, no, dear, don't. They give birth to their young standing up. There may be some that give birth lying down, but they give birth standing up. Verse 3, they crouch down and bring forth their young. Their labor pains are ended. Their young thrive and grow strong in the wilds till they get caught by a goddamn lion. They leave and do not return. No, pretty sure they return year after year. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied its ropes? I gave it the wasteland as its home, the salt flats as its habitat. It laughs at the commotion in the town. It does not hear a driver shout. It ranges the hills for its pasture and searches for any green thing. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Will it stay by your manger at night? Can you hold it to the furrow with a harness? Will it till the valleys behind you? Will you rely on it for its great strength? Will you leave your heavy work to it? Can you trust it to haul in your grain and bring it to your threshing floor? Well, considering at one time all domesticated animals were wild, then yeah. Verse 13. The wings of the ostrich flap joyfully, though they cannot compare with the wings and feathers of the stork. Okay. She lays her eggs on the ground and lets them warm in the sand, unmindful that a foot may crush them, that some wild animal may trample them, more like that a wild animal may eat them. Verse 16, she treats her young harshly, as if they were not hers. She cares not that her labor was in vain, for God did not endow her with wisdom, or give her a share of good sense. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at horse and a rider. Do you give the horse strength, or clothe its neck with a flowing mane? Do you make it leap like a locust, striking terror within its proud snorting? It paws fiercely, rejoicing in its strength, and charges into the fray. It laughs at fear, afraid of nothing. It does not shy away from the sword. Pretty sure you can make horses afraid of something, especially if you're mean to it. Verse 23, the quiver rattles against its side, along with the flashing spear and lance. In frenzied excitement, it eats up the ground. It cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. At the blast of the trumpet, it snorts. It catches the scent of battle from afar, the shout of commanders and the battle cry. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom and spread its wings toward the south? Does the eagle soar at your command and build its nest on high? It dwells on a cliff and stays there at night. A rocky crag is its stronghold. From there it looks for food. Its eyes detect from afar. Its young ones feast on blood, and where the slain are, there it is. Chapter 40. The Lord said to Job, will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him. Then Job answered the Lord, I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? Well, God, you just beat him up with the words. My fucking what a what a mess. I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no, Lord, no more. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. Brace yourself like a man. Well, yeah, what else would he brace himself like? He is a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Didn't we already go through this? I think God's got Alzheimer's. Did I say that before? Nah, probably not. Verse 8. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like God's? And can your voice thunder like his? Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor, and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of your wrath. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they stand. Bury them all in the dust together. Shroud their faces in the grave. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Look at Behemoth. I did a live stream on Behemoth. Just type Behemoth into my channel search and you'll find it, which I made along with you. No, God, you did not make. Well, okay, God may have made Behemoth. I can't remember now. Anyway, um, and which feeds on grass like an ox. By the way, the Yuckers, the young earthers, want so badly for Behemoth to be a sauropod, but look what it says. And which feeds on grass like an ox. There was no grass when sauropods roamed the earth. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. And this is another thing the yuckers get wrong. Verse 17 doesn't say its tail is as thick as a cedar. Verse 17 says its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thighs are close knit. No idea what that means. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs like rods of iron. Actually, I think, no, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. Verse 19. It ranks first among the works of God. Well, considering it's a made up animal, yeah. Some people claim this to be an elephant or a hippo. All right, but in Canaanite mythology, which Israel took their mythology from, it was a mythical animal. Verse 19. It ranks first among the works of God, yet its maker can approach it with his sword. The hills bring it their produce, and all the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plant it lies. Under the lotus plant it lies. How could a sauropod lie under a lotus plant. That is ridiculous. Hidden among the reeds of the marsh. The reeds in the marsh wouldn't even reach past a sauropod's ankles. Honestly, people, come on. Read your own goddamn fucking book for once. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow. Again, impossible if this was a sauropod. The poplars by the stream surround it. A raging river does not alarm it. It is secure, though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. This is the one thing that could refer to a hippopotamus. Can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it and pierce its nose? That's where some people get that it's an elephant. Chapter 41. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook? I also did a live stream on Leviathan. Type in Leviathan on my channel, it'll take you there. Um, Leviathan also comes from Canaanite myth. Or tie down its tongue with a rope. Can you put a cord through its nose or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Okay, so basically, um, God had to. Initially, there were two Leviathans, a male and a female. And God, according to Canaanite myth, um, El had to wrestle one of the Leviathans. I forget which one it was. Um, so that he could make Earth. And the other Leviathan is waiting, biding its time to go after God for killing its mate. I'm not kidding either. You can look this up. So that's probably what he means by will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? No, because it's a made up thing. Will it make an agreement with you for you to take at it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird? Or put it on a leash for the young women in your house? Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons or its head with fishing spears? If you lay a hand on it, you will remember this struggle and never do it again. Well, you'll never do it again because, again, it's a mythical creature. Any hope of subduing it is false. The mere sight of it is overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength and its graceful form. Who can strip off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of armor? Who dares open the doors of its mouth, ringed about with fearsome teeth? Its back has rows of shields, tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flares of light. Its eyes are like the rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth, sparks of fire shoot out, smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot from burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Strength resides in its neck. Dismay goes before it. The folds of its flesh are tightly joined. They are firm and immovable. Its chest is as hard as rock, hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that reaches it has no effect, nor does the spear or the dart of the javelin. Now, I understand how some people could get a crocodile out of this. I can understand that. Because if you didn't know that Leviathan was a made up mythical creature, this sounds an awful lot like a crocodile. Iron it treats like straw. Not sure if a crocodile can um, bite iron, but it has a pretty strong bite force. And bronze, like rotten wood, arrows do not make it flee. Well, if this is indeed a crocodile, why would it? It's got fucking armor all along its head, all along its body. Sling stones are like chaff to it. A club seems to it, but a piece of straw. Sorry, my eyes are getting worse and worse. It laughs at the rattling of the lance. Its undersides are jagged potsherds, leaving a trail in the mud like a threshing sludge. Not sledge. Not really sure what that means. Um, looks more like drag marks. If you've ever seen like crocodiles, usually don't slither on their bellies like snakes do. Um, but I mean, they do drag their tail, so I guess. But then dragging their tail makes it look more like uh more like somebody sliding in the mud where you can't really tell anything. It makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron and stirs up the sea like a pot of ointment. It leaves a glistening wake behind it. One would think the deep had white hair. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud. Chapter 42. Thank goodness! Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You asked who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge. Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. Verse 7. After the Lord had said these things to Job, he said to Eliphaz the Temanite, I am angry with you and your two friends because you have not spoken the truth about me, as my servant Job has. So now take 7 bulls and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job and sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves. My servant Job will pray for you, and I will accept his prayer and not deal with you according to your folly. You have not spoken the truth about me, as my servant Job has. So Eliphaz the Temanite and Bildad the Shuhite and Zophar the Tomathite did what the Lord told them, and the Lord accepted Job's prayer. After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Oh, yeah. Did you also raise his kids back from the dead? All his brothers and sisters and everyone who had known him before came and ate with him. They comforted and consoled him over all the trouble the Lord had brought upon him, and each one gave him a piece of silver and a gold ring. Now, see, this is what I like about the Jewish faith. They are more than willing to say, yes, God did this. Verse 12. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys, and he also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. Again, like I said, are you going to bring back his other kids from the grave? The first daughter he named Jemima, the second Keziah, and the third Karen Hapuk. Nowhere in all the land were there found women as beautiful as Job's daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance among with their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years. He saw his children and their children to the fourth generation, and so Job died, an old man and full of years. hmm So God did all this fucking nonsense to Job for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And did God apologize in the end? No. I don't see how this God deserves worship. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for Atheist Church. Have a good one. Bye now. Please thumbs up the video and leave a comment in the comment section. It helps the algorithm. And if you can afford to, please join this channel. You can join for as low as 99 cents a month. If you cannot afford it, don't even do it, please. All right. Um, bye.